This is The Cockroach by Isha Barua. You can't remember what it's like the moment before it happened, what it feels like. Happy, maybe. Normal. You think you're feeling normal because normals go unremembered, and you're not planning to remember this exact moment. It's going to be another one of those minutes in your life that you don't remember. You and Jackie are sharing a silence, the easy kind, the companionable silence that comes when you know someone well enough to be normal together, so neither of you are doing the silence out of your own volition. Normal is a feeling that you can't describe the shape of while it's happening, like most feelings. Normal is a sliding window, a dynamic average. You're in your room. It's nighttime and the lights are on, the ones below eye level, because it softens the glare and makes the space feel more comfortable. You're sitting at your chair, the chair facing the desk, and listening to Jackie, who's somewhere in the room behind you. You're caught between sitting facing your desk and sitting facing Jackie, and so you settle for both and neither, which is how you come to be sitting facing this in-between space. It's nothing you haven't seen before, something glanced at and glanced away from, serving its function as a rest stop for your gaze as it travels the room, a picture made up from countless spasmodic eye movements and thus given familiarity. 6-panel door, crown molding, hardwood floor. While you're half looking at this in-between space, you're keeping pace with that low tempo, easy rhythm of a conversation about something normal. The kind of conversation that's just embers, that will continue through the night, less from any effort on either of the speakers and more from the inertia of what has already been said. Maybe you're throwing away this visual information somewhere involuntarily. How the walls are a creamy white landscape washed clean by the light. How the molding is parallel, unbeginning and unending, left to right, right to left, paintable with one long, wide brushstroke. A fault line that could be confused for a stray hair begins cleaving the molding away from the wall and the floor. Perhaps because of the seismic activity from outside the room, down to the trains, down below the island, down to the plates. Or from inside, the impact of sitting and jumping and walking and years of life. Your turn to reply, and you do, as you study the floorboards, and maybe your breath will gather in the inky darkness of the splotches of leftover varnish, giving the illusion of depth, like those underwater holes that trap light into deeper eddies. Maybe your words will shard away into the floorboards, slowly incorporated like flecks of chocolate in stracciatella, into their smattering of pocks and nicks and notches. Maybe the floorboards will breathe like you, one living organ, swelling and contracting, their grains strengthened by your normal daily living, like striated muscle tissue. Maybe the floorboards study you. Something snags, pulling out the slack in your line of sight. Imperceptible at first glance. Maybe even the first 10 glances, you don't know. Imperceptible almost. A tiny disruption of patterns of black and brown and beige. Imagine pinching the ends of foam earplugs and smushing them in, and feeling the world fade to black as they expand. Knowledge become nothing. question, absence, void. Then, meaning, flooding in to fill the space. You rifle through your memory for texture, form, color. You begin to realize. You begin to fear. Sensation takes a little longer. A growing sense of fatigue from the stiffness of your joints that need to move again. A growing sense of pressure from your lungs that need to breathe again. You sit there, watching it sit there, and think about how long you've been sitting there, and how long it's been sitting there, and how long you've been studying it, and how long it's been studying you. You think if you just keep sitting, keep studying, keep it contained in your field of vision with the force of your eyes, then it won't move. And then it will go on forever. This back and forth, this repetitive capture, this eye for this eye, this on a floorboard that binds you both. You get the sense that this must be justice. You think about what can possibly be accomplished by the end of the day when a once known, once loved place is cast back into darkness, again and again and again. You think about headlights and speed and reflecting white into white. You think about soft silver bellies and flinty black dorsals for reflecting the cold, sober judgment and the open, yawning deep. You think normal is irretrievable now, pulverized and left to the wayside. And you're sitting there, staring down into its remains in the dim lamplight. And it takes nothing more than a slight reshuffling of browns to make it go back to before. But it will never be before again. You can't remember what it was like seeing anything else. You can't remember what it was like the moment before it happened, what it feels like.